Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. A day delay on this video, I know I promised it for yesterday. But the CFC Q&A episode number, 9 or 10, something like that. Now, we're doing well, the series is going well. If you have been enjoying it and you have been watching, then thank you very much. But it's time to do the next episode. You know how the series works. Just going to try and get past the introduction as quickly as possible. But if you would like to be involved in the series, you know what to do. Go to Twitter and follow the account at CFCQA118. And you can be involved in the series like many people are every week, where I get to answer questions that I normally wouldn't in other talk videos. So we're going to get right into it. Some questions have been sent for this week. I'm looking forward to answering them. And let's waste no more time. John McInnes, or McInnes, has asked, is Yusuf Malumbu the GOAT? Now, the GOAT is maybe a bit of a stretch, but right now I am liking Yusuf Malumbu in many different ways, for his attitude, his play style, everything so far has pointed towards a positive sign in the signing of Yusuf Malumbu. He's came into the club and obviously he's been brought in as more of a depth player. He's not going to be a first team player in the team every week. Starting 11, he didn't even start at the weekend against St Johnstone, which I found surprising after the match midweek against Red Bull Salzburg. I thought he would be in the starting 11, but he wasn't. He was dropped. But he's a player who's, aging, probably doesn't have as much fitness as what he did back in his heyday in the Premier League, but he's still a solid player. He's got the attitude of a winner. We've heard his comments throughout the last couple of weeks on how he thinks Celtic will get back to the top and how we will go and win the title and such. He has a really good attitude, and that's what I like. I like to see him bring that to the club. For a player who knows probably that he's not going to play as big a part as players like Scott Brown or Ian Cham, he's still very positive. And for being a free signing, I'm very glad we did pick him up. It was a signing who I thought at the time, you know what, maybe he's not Celtic quality, but he will add a lot of depth to the squad. But the games he has played in, he's looked a strong player, both going forward and defending. He's physical. On the park, he looks a real unit. And he's a player who maybe Celtic have actually missed someone like him. If we could have more players like him defensively, that's kind of physical side to them, I think would be brilliant. I think we could be a lot better. I think he's a good sign, a good direction to go in, and for free, you can't really complain. So hats off to Yusuf Malumbu. I look forward to seeing more of him. I hope he does get into the first team a lot more often. But he's a player who right now I'm a big fan of, and would like to see more of him, as I said. Josh Rooney asked, does Lustig need to go? Lustig, to go maybe is a bit of a stretch. Maybe it's a bit extreme saying that he has to leave the club altogether. It really depends on what he wants, because he needs replaced. We need a new right back. We need someone to take his spot in the starting 11. He's one of the weaker players in the team now. I am nothing but grateful to Mikael Lustig for the service he's given the club, and once again a player with a magnificent attitude, great personality. He's a winner, and he's done a lot at Celtic, and he's been that first team right back for so long now, since 2011. He's been a great player, and he does have a lot of qualities, but now he's been exposed a lot. He's not as good as he used to be. His legs seem to be gone. He's not as quick as what you'd maybe want in a full back. Getting forward, he's not great, and defensively he has just been taken for granted a lot of times, and maybe it is just time to let him kind of forge on with his career. I'd love to keep him around Celtic for the fact it's Mikael Lustig, and he's been at the club so long, and he's got a great attitude, but he needs replaced in the first team. There's no question about that. So to go, maybe not. We could keep him as a depth right back. He could be there as a backup. We've got Gamboa as well, though. You've got to keep that in mind. Lustig, though, does need replaced. I love the guy. I do love him. I love Mikael Lustig. Great player at times for Celtic, but now he does get shown up a lot, not just on a European stage, but a domestic stage as well. And we can't be having that. We need to have players who are of a good enough quality to help us in the league, and more importantly European wise, so we can try and do more on a European stage. So I would replace him. His time is up. I love the guy, but we need a new right back. There's no question about that. Keen asks, at Kino CFC, what do we change with our tactics? Well, at the weekend, I think this question I put, this tweet I posed and I put up before the St Johnstone game at the weekend, I think we got a lot of things right against St Johnstone, as we can see by the result itself. A 6-0 win, emphatic, great performance. If you want to see a more in-depth review of that match, the video is on the channel. What we done in that game is what we need to just start doing, and that's creating chances, going direct at teams, stop passing the ball about as much around the back. We just need to change that. And maybe the two up front will start working. Griffiths, of course, didn't really get in with the action at the weekend. Edouard was the only striker who did get a goal. I don't know if we stick with two up front or if we go with one, but whatever we do, the main message I think we're going to send to the team and get out the players is to just be more direct, make chances, instead of just trying to break down teams. Just go at them, make them fear. You just put a wee bit of fear in their defence, put them on the edge, and it will come. Goals will come. There is no doubt about that. And we've seen that at the weekend. Evidently, every time James Forrest ran at them, they didn't know what they were doing. We just need to be more direct and more threatening going forward, rather than trying and passing our way from side to side. That's what we really need to change. More fast-paced, aggressive football. It'll get us goals. Champions League back-to-back or 4 trebles back-to-back, says Mark Down. Now, I'm unsure if he means Champions League back-to-back as in get to the Champions League 2 years in a row or win the Champions League 2 years in a row. Now, I would happily take 2 Champions Leagues over 4 trebles in a row if we're talking about winning the whole competition. If he means just get to the Champions League, if it meant with the implication we don't get Champions League football and we're stuck in the Europa League for 2 years, I would sacrifice a quadruple treble to be in the Champions League. Just my opinion. A lot of people may not agree with me, but I think Champions League football at the end of the day is beneficial to the club in all sorts of ways. Financially, reputation-wise, bringing in players-wise. We need Champions League football at a club like Celtic in the year 2018. I would sacrifice the 4 trebles happily. Sam Clark actually has asked a bit of an unrelated question to Celtic, but I still want to answer it because it's interesting. But he has asked a Celtic question then, so I'll answer that first. Do you think Rodgers isn't harsh enough in the team? Now, we obviously don't see what happens behind closed doors. We don't see the changing room team talks. We don't see training every day. What we get from Brendan Rodgers is his press conferences and the 90 minutes themselves. Where Brendan Rodgers, as we know, is not an animated manager. He's not a Jurgen Klopp. He's not a Martin O'Neill. He doesn't shout and scream. He doesn't run up and down the touchline. And that's just him. We can't ask him to change that. His managerial success has been built on the way he manages his team in the park. And I don't think we can ask him to change that. Now, what he's like behind closed doors, I have no idea. He might be harsh to the players. We don't know. The impression that I think a lot of fans do get, though, is he's not harsh enough. Should he be harsher? Sometimes it could be called for, but sometimes it might. Look, at the end of the day, we've won back-to-back trebles. Form is now picking up. We can't exactly risk the disharmony in the changing room because of a little bit of a slow start. At the end of the day, we can still go back to the top of the table. We can win the title this season. Maybe sometimes we need to be harsher on players who aren't performing, and Brendan Rodgers has to be harsher on them, drop more players and such. Maybe is a little bit lenient, but the success he's built in the last 2 years, I'd suggest he's managing the team correctly. And I wouldn't ask him to change that. Now, the other question he asked, I'm going to answer quickly. It's not exactly Celtic related. He says, who's my favourite United/Dortmund player and how did you start supporting/following those teams? United, I've supported since I was a wee guy. My dad likes Man United as well. But I just, Wayne Rooney and Ronaldo basically built my love. I've liked him since I was about 7 years old. It's hard to follow United nowadays because of how Mourinho's getting on there and how the last few years have been. But I still stand by and like following them. I wouldn't say I exactly support these teams. I support one team, that's Celtic. I just follow them and I like to see them do well. United, that's how Dortmund really started. And I think, 2012, trying to watch a wee bit more German football. The way they played football under Klopp was so entertaining. They had some great players. That Champions League run in 2013. And their fans, the atmosphere within the stadium as well. It's a very easy club to like. And that's how I just started following them, and more recently I've just really liked watching Dortmund. I've always thought they're entertaining to watch. Favourite player between the two clubs is undoubtedly Marco Reus. He's my favourite player to watch in the world at the minute, without a question. He is just sensational. He's my favourite Dortmund player anyway. Favourite United player was always Wayne Rooney, until he sadly went. So right now, God knows, to be honest, I've always been a big fan of Juan Mata, but David De Gea is just sensational, so I'm going to say De Gea. Ad the Lad says, do you think Rangers will get further than us in the Europa League? Well, they've had a better start. Obviously, they've racked up 4 points. We've had 3. I think both teams are going to struggle to get out of their group, judging by how long is left to go and such, and with the quality of teams within the groups. If both of us get through to the last 32, I think we'll get further. That's my answer to it. But we need to see who gets to the last 32 first. I would love to see Celtic progress from the group, of course. Rangers, for the sake of Scottish football, I could say aye, but obviously I like to see them get pumped out their group because it's a real laugh in it. So, I'm going to just say right now, I think Celtic will get further. But there's still a wee bit to go. We're not even at the halfway point yet, so it's hard to judge at this point. Gerald Green asked, do you think it's time to drop Edouard and give Lewis Morgan or Ryan Christie a shot up front with Griff? Now, both of the players aren't naturally strikers, so to that question, I would say don't part them with Griffiths. If we're dropping Edouard, I'd stick with a one man up front. Christie, I've never been a big fan of, and people who watch the channel know that. Lewis Morgan is a player who I really want to get behind and want to see get a lot more chances. Now, Edouard has been a wee bit off the kind of form ladder recently. He's not been great. He scored at the weekend and he scored against Leipzig, so maybe he's picking it back up. But before those 2 games, he was really struggling to get some goals. And he was raising a lot of questions. And Griffiths was kind of rising his way into being that top striker at the club. Edouard, I feel like for the 9 million spent, it is difficult to just say drop him because we need to get the worth out of him. But only time will tell how well he manages to cope and get on with life at Celtic. I wouldn't drop Edouard as of yet because he's scored in the last couple of games. Let's see what happens after the international break. Christie and Morgan do deserve their chances. I'd love Lewis Morgan to get more chances in the team without a shadow of a doubt. Christie, I still don't think he's Celtic quality, but he does deserve his chance at the club. There's no denying that. Liam Riley says, if Rodgers leaves at the end of the season, who would I replace him with? Ronnie Dyler. The final question I'm going to go with for this episode comes from Lewis, and he says, if the right offer comes in for Ncham in January, would you take it, as he's been playing poor and Malumbu looks twice the player? I think Olivier Ncham has been poor recently. There's no denying that. He doesn't look the player he was last season. He doesn't look the player who was getting linked with moves to West Ham for £7-8 million. He definitely needs to pick it up. Now, I would think it would be a massive loss though if we lost him in January. I'd like to keep hold of him. I think he will recover his form. I do believe that he will recover it. He's a top player, and he showed that throughout last season. And there's a reason he's getting linked with other clubs. He's still very young as well. We've got to remember that. Malumbu is old as well. So for a long-term thing, it would be a bad move, in my opinion, to let him go so early. If the fee is right, then perhaps we do let him go. I would love to ideally keep a hold of him throughout this entire season, though. And ideally throughout the next couple of seasons. He is still really young. Let's keep that in mind. Consistency needs to come back from the no. He needs to get those top draw performances back out for us. I believe he will. Malumbu looking twice the player. Of recent games, probably yes, but I'm still under the impression that Ncham is a class player, and I'd like to see him remain at Celtic. So I wouldn't sell in January unless we're getting offered daft money. But if he keeps playing like this, we won't get daft money. I'd keep a hold of him for now anyway. And that does it for this episode of the CFC Q&A. If you have enjoyed, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. Let me know your opinions to my opinions and get your questions in when the tweet is up on Twitter throughout the week as well. As I said, like, subscribe if you've enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.